On this episode of DC On Screen, we are talking about Legends of Tomorrow Season 4 with an emphasis on the finale, Hey World, right after this.
Boost your brand's visibility with Image 360, your expert source for comprehensive custom signs and graphic solutions. From standout office signage to dynamic trade show displays, Image 360 has you covered. Leveraging years of experience with the latest technology, our team delivers solutions that surpass your every expectation. Ready to transform your company's visual communication strategy? Get a quote at image360signs.com today. Image360signs.com.
You think of Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse, where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Welcome into DC On Screen. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
All right, so Legends of Tomorrow. What a weird show, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird Constantine season 2.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so right out of the gate, I loved the first half of this season, and then the second half really fell apart on me.
What did you love in the first half?
Constantine, the zaniness of the demons, specifically the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked a lot of what was going on. Like, I felt like I think it was partially
Stuff
because
with Ava and all that.
Ava, she was fine. She was fine. I think we got a little more focus on some of the characters because they didn't have Nate as much this season, and that was because of personal reasons.
Personal reasons, which, by the way, they managed to reference in the show without really doing it.
Oh, do tell. I didn't catch that.
I mean, the problem was he had a problem with I forget the time and details, but he had one of his children, his first children, I'm not sure. He had a child that was born under less than ideal circumstances, and he needed to spend some time in the NICU. That's where he wanted to be.
Right.
Totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the show, they give him this egg that he gets to kind of mother and take extra care for.
Yeah, though they didn't do that until after he was pretty much back into every episode.
I know, but it's like they got to reference it in a meta way.
Yeah, which was kind of fun.
I kind of liked that, yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting little plot. I loved all the Constantine stuff, though.
Well, we knew we were going to like the Constantine stuff.
I know.
That was almost taken for granted, knowing
I tell you,
like he literally took over their logo. We
I was
knew
happy
this was
about.
going to be a magical, fun season.
I liked everything with Nora,
Yeah, she was a lot of fun.
but I've got like a weird crush on that actress anyway.
Oh, okay. I don't know where that's coming from, but
No?
I know Brandon Routh has a crush on her.
Well, absolutely, because they're married in real life.
Correct.
But yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I just don't know her from anything. I mean, I couldn't name you where I saw her before this role now. I think I used to know, and it just,
I couldn't tell you either.
just slipped in my mind.
I've just liked her since last year when she showed up on Legends. I don't
Nice.
know her. I don't know from anything else.
Just one of those under your skin kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I get it. She had a lot. They did a lot with her this season that was fun. Her arc overall, like from when Ray hands her that time stone last season to now.
Mm-hmm.
Also her arc last season. They've really done a great job with her character. So
Yeah.
this season, though, getting to see her get all the way to Time Bureau status, and then in what was one of the kind of zanier moments of misjudgment, get into fairy godmother status.
Uh-huh.
And then watching her, like, I loved this scene specifically where she's like plopping into hell, and the last thing you hear her say is like, "Gary, you dick!" It's fucking that was great. And then she comes back, and like the first thing she says is it's like fucking Gary, whatever the CW version of fucking Gary is.
Yeah. I don't know.
I enjoyed that though. I enjoyed how much disdain she had for him in that moment.
You know what? Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
the Legends of Tomorrow version of Hell,
Mhm.
did it kind of take away from Constantine for you? Because, like, I'm thinking, like, all during Constantine, I'm thinking, like, that poor girl, Astra's just down there burning in hell.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then it's like, oh, turns out she was just, hanging out in Dark City.
yeah,
She was in Gotham. Like, I'm pretty sure the Batwoman version of Gotham that we saw in the crossover was worse than Hell that they portrayed on Legends of Tomorrow.
yes and no. Like it was still clear that there were winners and losers here, and that there was this kind of middle ground where someone. And I like that there's an idea of a middle ground where someone like Constantine can peddle his wares.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just in hell and just being tortured by fire sticks up your ass the entire time, you don't have much of a chance to sweet talk your way into a better deal. Also, you don't want hell to not be grimy, so. You need to fall immediately into a dumpster.
Yeah.
And then you need there to be peddlers, like there would have been in the Dante's version stuff. The the peddlers and the usurpers and all that. There have to be all that. The one thing I didn't like, on the one hand, I liked that they kind of gave Astra a wrap up on this show.
Yeah.
That it does tie it in. On the other hand,
I agree.
It felt like it was going to be a much deeper story before. And to give it its credit, we had a moment where it was Ray Palmer, somebody I've been watching for 4 years that I love.
Mm-hmm.
The golden boy, the Boy Scout. We want good things to happen for him.
Good old haircut.
Yeah, good old haircut. And then it was Satan literally saying, which one do you want, him or the girl you left behind? That's a moment that I felt like would have been justified completely on Constantine at the proper NBC series.
Mm-hmm.
Like there it would have been Chaz or somebody.
Yeah.
But that felt right. Now, to kind of rob me of the pathos of, oh my God, all the stuff that should be happening to Astra, and instead it turns out she just kind of got down there and made it work for her.
Uh-huh.
It does kind of wrap up the story, but in a way where I'm like, okay, well, fucking Astra's going to make it, so that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. Well, not as an actress, but yeah, as a character.
I didn't have a problem with that.
That actress was terrible.
Didn't throw me.
Oof. Oh, speaking of people who made me go, ugh.
Oh, lovely.
How'd you feel about friggin'... I have to admit,
Now I'm
I
really
really
curious.
enjoyed it. I have to admit, I really enjoyed it, man. They're like, oh, Ray's got to, when we go through that door, Ray's going to be dealing with unspeakable, horrible torture. And they go in, he's like playing Jenga with a Vandal Savage.
Yeah. I should have known who you were talking about.
Like,
I literally, watching that scene, I thought, oh, Dave is going to hate this just as much as he hated him before.
No, I enjoyed that. What I did hate was that now Astra has unleashed all these souls back into the world, and I'm pretty sure Vandal Savage is probably gonna be in there.
Not necessarily.
You don't think so?
You didn't see him name checked.
I didn't. No.
I mean, they had plenty. They had the Hitlers and the Stalins and all that name checked on those coins.
They
Plenty of stuff going on.
They
There's
did.
there's an entire season of big bads they can go defeat.
And none of it's
take
interesting to
care of.
me. Like, I in no way want to see all these different dudes from these horrible people from different times running around destroying things, and the Legends having to go through time to try to stop them. Like that, none of that sounds interesting to me at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna have to go through time or whatever or blah blah blah. What I will appreciate is if. All right, so I wrote down the names I remembered, and it was Caligula, Stalin, and I think Genghis Khan. I wasn't sure about that one, but I just tried to remember as many of the names I had seen on coins.
Caligula does sound fun, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that would be a whole fucking thing. But those are three people who actually changed history pretty significantly, and if we got to watch the Legends go back and not just kind of stop them, but expand upon that. Like all those coins on the table that she was shoving in her pockets. And it may make sense that they're going to do this because they were using the Astra storyline to do it. But if that is the rising darkness that they were talking about back in the day, I'd be really happy with that.
That's interesting.
If that is NBC's Constantine Season 1 Big Bad, the rising darkness is what Astra unleashes upon the world, fucking we got a show.
Mayhap. All right, so...
Oh, by the way, also, Ray... fantastic bad guy.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I loved him as a bad guy.
I liked him as a bad guy in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
He was good there too.
The way he defeated him was pointing out all the times he ate meat.
Yeah.
Animal byproducts.
Yeah, that kind of show or that kind of movie was that made perfect sense for that movie.
Well, it's directed by your boy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Fantastic.
I know well.
Edgar Wright, y'all. Edgar Wright.
Love that little man.
All right. So, how did you feel about the Zari Nate romance?
That's pretty into it.
Yeah, I found myself shipping it pretty hard. Like I thought it was kind of out of nowhere for a minute.
They made it make sense.
They made it make sense, and now I'm super pissed that she ran outside of the temporal zone, and now she's not there, and it's her stupid brother.
Yeah, that's rough. It had like a not What Dreams. It was a oh Lord, Kevin Costner dream movie.
What?
Field of Dreams. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Field of Dreams feel to it. Like once he went across that line, he couldn't go back, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I didn't have any track of whether that actress was coming back either, so I don't know if that was just a thing or...
Apparently she is coming back, but it'll be in a different role than she has been. Like pretty much. Like I don't know if that means that like she's going to be Zari. I hope that means she's going to be Zari, but a different version of Zari, and they can like move their way back to what was going on. But I just hate that everyone's memories. As we talked about in Supergirl, I hate that shit. I don't like when they just like erase people's memory, and now we have to work back to what they already were.
Yeah.
And by the way, a more useless character I could not find than Charlie this season.
Oh no, they made use for it at the very least with that octopus-looking thing.
They made, well, I think that's her true form, but they made use of her. But my God, dude, like what a boring character! Like the most I liked her character. And by the way, I love this little arc they did. When they went to the convention, and she pretended to be
with Rory and her.
Yeah, she pretended to be Rebecca Silver, which of course, we've seen more than 3 episodes of television in our life. We knew that Mick was gonna have to throw a fit and be like, "You're not doing it right. I'm Rebecca Silver."
Right.
Still happy as hell when he did it though. Like I love that he actually cares about his fans and he actually thinks about his writing.
Yeah. That was a really touching part of an episode. I enjoyed that a lot.
I hate Mona.
Oh, I don't. Why?
Oh, I hate her. She's just so annoying. Awful character.
No, I think she's meant to be annoying, the same way Gary is.
Maybe, but I mean, Gary was bad enough. I don't need 2 Garys.
So you just already had Gary you were annoyed by it, didn't need her
And
to.
yeah, and you know what? Like I could laugh. I love Doom Patrol. I could laugh at sentient nipples that hypnotize people and have demon eyes in them. I even like I've still every couple days I think of Constantine saying that nipple belongs to hell now, mate. I still laugh at the visual of the nipple inching across the floor like an inchworm toward Gary.
Right.
Shit's funny.
Yeah.
Nipotizing, however they kept saying it. That was funny. Gary's annoying.
Yeah. For the same reason, I appreciated that one moment where he was holding court in the Time Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
They were, did Gary get cool? I'm confused. Thought it was played well.
Yeah.
And it actually did feel like, oh my God, this guy actually could be cool. They've unleashed a whole other side of this guy's personality. Oh crap.
Right. Let me ask you something though. Do you know things?
Sure. Let's talk about things.
You have approximate knowledge of many things.
Sure.
Is Kopay a real word in regards to some sort of werewolf character or creature?
Yeah. That is
that
actually in the background. Yeah.
Is it because I just kept
they were
thinking
reaching
of like
into some areas with like when they said Kopay and Baba Yaga or whatever. They were reaching into some areas where there's a podcast I like. I think it was Jason Eisner, but it's Myths and Legends, which just goes back and does a modern retelling, just using modern verbiage of old, just ancient stories like Iliad and everything, to and from. And I swear I looked at the hallway of people they brought in for that first one, like when they first like corralled here's all the freaks, and threw them in a corner. I was like, oh, somebody on this staff listens to Myths and Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been like 4 episodes of that podcast where it was talking about Baba Yaga, whatever. A few about Kopay, all that other stuff.
How is Baba Yaga? I haven't seen John Wick. How is that? I keep saying people.
John Wick?
People keep saying Baba Yaga in reference to John Wick, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I haven't seen John Wick. I want to see John Wick.
I don't remember it in John. I've seen the first one, and I was just bored one night and thought, I want to watch some people shoot some shit. And it does fill that cavity for you. If you need to watch some people shoot some shit, watch a John Wick movie. But yeah, but like Baba Yaga is supposed to be some Eastern folklore demon-like lady who kind of lives alone in a hut with these iron sharp teeth of that are of comical size, and she kind of tricks people into weird, ominous wishes, we'll call it. And just for fun, like apparently she gets around in a pestle and mortar, like the thing you use to grind up medication.
Oh, okay.
That's what she flies around in, is a pestle and mortar. It's a weird character.
Yeah, let's see.
Fascinating to hear the stories of her, but I thought it was a fun shout out just to have seen her anywhere. But again, the only reason I even know about her is because of that fucking podcast. So to see that and the word Kobe in the same context was like, yeah, somebody else is subscribed to this.
Yeah, so I hated the Kobe thing. It just sounded to me like someone was talking about insurance, but. And then this Mona keeps saying, oh, Konani, and she can't say it right the same way twice. It's either Kunani or Konane. It's so annoying.
I get that though. I'd say all kinds of words on this podcast all the time.
I know it annoys me. It annoys
too, and it annoys you when you do it. I get it.
Yeah, it does.
At least it's universal.
It is.
But you'd think you'd show mercy.
And then I'll tell you this much. I didn't like her wolf character. I didn't like, and they kept calling her Wolfie. And then she was just, it looked so bad whether they were doing practical or CGI, it just looked so bad. I had nothing for Mona, man. Just,
none of that.
Kind of awful.
None of that hit me the wrong way. I was okay with all of that.
I'm glad.
Just didn't sit wrong with me, I guess. I don't know.
It was just actively annoying to me the entire time. I really didn't need the Shape of Water over here with Mona and Kope.
That did occur to me at some point.
We've already kind of got it with Ray and Nora, right? Do we really want to do that again? Okay.
Yeah. Nah, I get you there. Question. Previous thing, but you remember the pit, the place, the bar they show up at in hell?
Not off the top of my head, not really, but yeah, okay.
You may not be able to help me here, but I looked at the pit, and I just finished watching it, previously, and so I saw the pit, and I saw the scenery around it, and I saw the way the room was framed, and some part of me thought this looks like a dive bar version of Lux.
That wouldn't be surprising, I guess. I can't place it in my head too well. Now that might be because I've been so tired when I've actually gotten a chance to watch it. I've been so tired that it's been really hard for me to stay awake.
Oh, I understand. But, a lot going on. But the scene where, and it was actually a pretty good scene where the demons I forget which demons, it was some low levels, are threatening to torture John, and he's like, oh yeah, you can do that, but I do remember that. Neron owns my soul, and the Triumvirate may want to hear about that shit because they're supposed to own my soul, and I'm just saying you should probably take me to them and all that. So that all takes place in this bar.
Okay.
And what it reminded me of is living in Birmingham. We have a couple of really nice bars. Like we have some places where you need to dress up before you go to these bars.
Mm-hmm. The type of place that has a whole toilet.
No, we have 2 toilets.
Oh.
For real, there are some for real, genuine. Be ready to spend some money on $20 worth of an ounce and a half of alcohol kind of cocktails just because it looks good on your side as you're we have some places like that. And that feels like Lux in my little hometown. And then we have some other places, which are the places that I'm more familiar with, where the walls are being held up by the staples of bands past. That's what the pit felt like to me.
Okay. Sounds like the Nick.
It's the Nick. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
That's the one. Still love that place.
Yeah, can't do it.
I don't blame you. I can't either. I still love it though.
I don't love it. If I'm gonna step foot in that place, I'm getting paid to film something.
Yeah.
Probably a band.
Yeah. Fuck knows in that place what you might get paid to film. Oh, the things I've seen.
That sounds like a conversation for Patreon.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember that.
Yeah, we'll see if that fits in there. We'll see if that gets cut and put out. We'll see. Oh, I was touched by this scene, and it still cracked me up in another way. Ready?
Uh-huh.
The scene on the playground where she's getting to watch her younger self
Uh-huh.
and kind of like fitting in for once
Oh, with the dragon.
with the dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the, idiot with the app who's like, it's a dragon, take it away. It's a monster, take it away. All right, I hate that shit. But before, very touching when she's getting to watch herself actually fit in for a minute. That was awesome. But
Did you just use your last name as the beginning of awesome?
no.
It sounded like you said that's gossam.
No, that would have been no. I'm not allowed to use anything from my childhood as a reference point. And invent the word gossam in the middle of that.
All right, but now I've opened that gateway, so we're gonna have to start using that word.
No, I need you to get a big set of chains and a lot of locks. Put it on that gateway and just retire that one.
Nope, can't do it.
All right. Well, I tried. The
I'm sorry, everyone.
yeah, I was
so
probably the only one who thought this stuff.
Uh-huh.
I saw that dragon. It was really cute. It was in the last episode, and I thought, cute, scaly Bebo.
I didn't think of that, no. But I see what you're saying.
You see the reference.
Yeah, well, yeah, I see the reference. I mean, you know what it looked like to me? It looked like Toothless from the How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a How to Train Your Dragon reference.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely where they were going with that. It was a cool scene. Oh, all right. Speaking of cute, by the way,
Uh-huh.
a lot of the stuff with Hayworld
Uh-huh.
was I thought it was pretty adorable.
Yeah, sure.
Like the fact that he's kept all of his like the relationship being so contentious, and we got to see that through the thing. So the reveal later when he's kept all the stuff and he just wanted to rebuild all the stuff his son had dreamt of later. That was a really cool part of the season for me.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it also actually paying off later.
Mm-hmm.
That they needed like this little, kind of a children's theater-ish place. But I really enjoyed the turn because I didn't actually expect it. I thought they were going to retire that series a little bit, but I thought they were going to retire the story between him and his dad differently. But when they did the thing where he's got the children's drawings, I got a little choked up about it. That was pretty cute.
Yeah, I had a hard time with all that because, like, I think I felt like I wanted him and his dad to reconcile. And by the way, I think one of my favorite bits with both of them was like the whole Smokey and the Bandit episode where they're just in the cop car running around after.
Yeah, that was fun.
After the team.
Yeah.
I wanted them to reconcile, and then Hank gets killed, and his ghost is still hanging around. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he wasn't up to all this nefarious shit. He was building this. And that was so stupid to me that it almost ruined it. But by the time that we have, Nate Colossusing out and stopping that wrecking ball, and then especially when Nate dies and he and his dad have
that little conversation on the rafters there.
A little conversation on the rafters.
Yeah.
I was right where you were. Like getting choked up.
Off. Yeah.
It did. Like, and I wasn't even, to be fair and to be perfectly clear, I wasn't really that annoyed. It's Legends. Like, I know what I'm getting into with Legends.
I understand.
So,
and you know what got me in the last scene? I got a little annoyed with myself because they did the scene well.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget which. I think it's a James Taylor song. I forget which one it is. Pretty sure I'd listened to it coming back from New Orleans because my wife plays the 60s, 70s singer-songwriter stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, usually 40% on board and, I don't know, 50-50 maybe.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 Jim Croce songs in, I'm like, okay, we need to find somewhere else to be right now. But I kind of wish the James Taylor didn't get to me as much as it did, but it kind of did. I got a little choked up. It was a good scene.
Yep. That was a fantastic song. Or a great, I mean, it is a fantastic song. Sweet Baby James is the song. Yeah, I got a little choked up and was singing along.
Yeah. I know.
I love James Taylor though.
It's weird. I love him for like 6 minutes at a time.
You got about 2 songs in you?
I've got 2 songs in me, and then I want to bounce to something else. And then if you give me a few hours and come back, I'm like, oh, goddamn, that's a great song.
I
I
will,
can really delve into it and get into it, and then I need to go hear, like, I don't know, anything, White Stripes or something.
well, there are a couple different versions of, or 2 or 3 different versions of James Taylor, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but you got kind of your, poppy 70s James Taylor. Then you have the James Taylor you think about, where it's like, slow rock where he's strumming an acoustic and singing about frost on a pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've also got like, oh shit, this is a live recording and he's doing some deep hometown blues type of shit, and some steamroller blues, and I could do all of that.
Yeah, I
I
don't
can
blame
do
you.
all of it.
I don't blame
But
you.
I usually have to be in a mood for James Taylor though, but if I'm just tooling around on the radio or my Spotify just is kind of grabbing something to throw into a mix, and okay, cool. I can also listen to one song and be perfectly happy.
I understand. It's just I do have to be in a certain mood for it, and that mood has to catch me off surprise because I won't be the one to turn on James Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll find myself being able to dig in and appreciate it for a minute, and then I lose traction.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in a mood that's similar to that, and I want to hear something like that, for me it's transmuted into like I'll put on Radiohead or something. It just
See,
it comes up in different places for me.
yeah, I
I'm
usually
gonna go listen to like Pinback or Portishead or Stereolab or something like it. They've got all kinds of other bands that fill that gap for me.
it is a rare day that I will put on Radiohead.
It's a rare one for me too. I just don't get there emotionally, at this age as much as I used to. But I've got a host of people and bands that fill that gap for me. It didn't have as much training in James Taylor. Yeah.
Well, I haven't had marijuana in quite some time, so the Radiohead is just, I think it's lost to me.
See, to me, it's the other way around. I'd have to have some marijuana to really dig into some James Taylor like I want to.
Oh, I mean,
Like I didn't think
sure.
I'd love, Neil Young and Stills Nash and the rest of the gang as much as I did, and then somewhere in the mid to late 2000s, smoked a lot of weed and listened to them, and they're fantastic.
Well, see, I mean, yeah, I am sure I did that too, but all those guys are things I can listen to now, and then and still be like, yep, this is some chill shit right here, but then like the Radiohead, I don't connect to it because I'm like, I feel like I should be like tripping balls listening to the 20 minutes lead up to a single word stretched out over the course of 30 seconds.
Yeah, I get it. The weird part though is like the parts of that you're talking about are the parts that in high school when I was completely sober, I could completely get my head around. And now the simpler things, I feel like I would need some assistance with.
We're a strange pair, you and I.
It's all about what you're exposed to at a time. What's your environment? What are you exposed to? How do you feel about it? Music's so particular. What you get enamored with and what just doesn't hit you.
Yeah, which I mean, I like Radiohead. It's just rare that I actually sit down for anything other than a single.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, gotta stop talking about music now. But yeah, that James Taylor that hit me in a way that I was just so damn pleased that they were doing it, and the fact that Nate and his dad love Billy Joel. What
Yeah.
the hell, man?
Yeah.
I know you don't like Billy Joel.
I know,
love Billy
I know,
Joel.
I know it's a strong chord, and unless it's a song about Vienna or whatever,
Right.
I can do without. But what is that song?
Vienna waits for you.
There you go. Thank you. Love that song. Rest of it, I'm lukewarm. I got 3 questions for you.
All right.
All right, 1 statement and 2 questions. 1.
Oh, okay. Less
mine-
interested.
Bear with me. 1. I wrote Weird Vandal Savage cameo in my notes.
Right.
And just for fun, it looks like I wrote, because my handwriting's terrible, Weird Vandal Sausage cameo.
Mm-hmm.
It took me, out of context, it took me a good 10 seconds to figure out that I hadn't written the word sausage, because I was trying to figure out what happened.
And I want to make that comedy video.
I know.
I want to make that commercial.
I mean, it probably has something to do with the fact that he hisses all of his S's, and that would be spitting hot iron skillet grease on everyone. I built that in somehow.
Yeah.
2. So it seems like for the next season, which is apparently a thing, I think they're going to lean into the uprising of some kind.
Okay.
But there was a mention in there of like everyone deserves a second act.
You think that was a reference to Constantine's second season?
No, that's a solid point. But at the same time, she was kind of fucking around with a bunch of soul coins that are big players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a chance to me, as I mentioned before, that we're going to go into an uprising that's led by Astra's actions in this finale, which would be pretty awesome because that would tie in season 1 of Constantine in a pretty big way. I mean, they left a good 5 or 6 things on the table that I would love to have revisited, but that's one of them. That's for sure one of them that I wanted to see happen, and that's really 2 of them tying in each other. So I'd love to see that come in, and they almost left it in a way where Astra's a powerful enough character that maybe she's got a way that she's going to angle herself in charge of this uprising, like she'll be a new Neron.
Mm-hmm.
That she's some usurper to the throne of hell, and the triumvirate has to be afraid of her now and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think they're going in any of those directions, but I mean, I guess, were you curious about either of those, and are you excited about either of those?
No and no, I think.
Good
like
talk.
if I know, right? I think I would love to see season 5 at the very least feature a trial of John Constantine. I would love to see Chaz and what was it, Zed from the from the original series back. And yeah, if they wanted to do a the Rising Darkness, I want to see his buddy, his angel buddy who betrayed him.
Yeah.
I want to see all of that on top of, fixing Zari, because I really want her back on the show the way I know her.
Yeah, I don't want to get to know a new one of her right now.
Yeah,
We've done a lot of
either.
that on this show.
Yeah. I am much more interested in, if they are going to take out a character, I wish they would kill them and we could just gain people. Like, I don't like this idea of let's get rid of a character and then change the actor into something else, or hey, let's have a different version of the character. Unless they're willing to go alternate universes. Now, that would make more sense to me since we're going into Crisis on Infinite Earths.
See, I think there's a chance that that's what they did, was they killed somebody and it made it really work in season 1 with Captain Cold, and then got to eat their cake too by getting kind of Citizen Cold.
For a minute, yeah.
And thought, well, that went over so well. What if we could just kind of rewrite people, because we have a time traveling spaceship. We can do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance that it's gotten in their blood too much, that
Maybe.
you keep thinking like, well, we can just rewrite this character this way this season. And also look at what they're doing on other shows. Look at Tom Cavanaugh. They just decide how to do him every season. And we keep being into it because we keep liking Tom Cavanaugh, but we keep having more or less favorite versions of these characters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But
So I get why they think it's something they could be doing, but you do have to have stakes.
yeah, I would say I don't want Astra to be the big bad for next season because I did not like the actress. I'm fine with her being the catalyst for it, but I just don't want to deal with her all season.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been her throwing everything at the wall and just seeing what happens because she can escape or rule a different part of hell or whatever she's got planned. I do think you're going to see more of her, though.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see more of her. I tell you who annoyed me this season, Ava.
Really?
Yeah, when Ava just started being like a total B to Sarah and being like, you didn't have my back. I'm like, yeah, it's Sarah. Like,
No, that's the exact thing. That's the exact reason you shouldn't be mad at Ava for that, is because...
no, but Sarah's always right, though. Like, especially in that situation, she's like, no, dude, Hank is doing this shit. And then Ava's like, no, we have to keep him doing. Like, people are being like, essentially, as far as they knew, these creatures were being tortured and put into slavery. And Ava didn't care because Time Bureau.
Right.
Like, I didn't, like, it didn't feel natural to the character. It felt like an unnecessary obstacle to throw in their way. I was, however, quite happy with her version of Purgatory or whatever, that being the IKEA store.
The IKEA store? Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was nice. They actually made some really good metaphor out of that IKEA store.
Yeah, and with that, them doing that, and then them having the Jenga thing in hell, It just reminded me. It reminded me of Angel when they were like, "Oh, Lindsay's in hell. We're gonna have to go get him out of hell to get our answers. Be prepared for the worst possible thing ever." And then it's just suburbs.
Yeah.
You remember that? Like,
Yeah, I do.
It's just the suburbs. He has to do the same shit every day. He's got a wife, a couple kids. Of course, at 4:00 every day, he has to go into the basement to get his heart torn out. But
But other than that, it's
other than that,
the grind.
it's just kind of...
yeah. It also reminds me though, one of your favorite episodes of Angel and your introduction to the series was Happy Time.
Small time.
Small Time. Is that it?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
A show which revolved around the idea that Angel was turned into a puppet.
Yeah. You're a bloody puppet. You're a wee puppet man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic too.
So I mean, it's clearly not that you're not you're not incapable of having a large interest. I mean, that was a 5-season show that you went back and rewatched vigorously
Yes.
because you were so interested in that episode.
Oh, don't shortchange it, man. I went back and watched all of Buffy from the beginning. So I watched 12 seasons of TV because I was so into that episode.
So enamored by that introduction. So clearly a bit of wacky is not going to run you off. Also, we just did a
absolutely
review
not.
of Doom Patrol where we were just pouring over it.
And I believe I said in that Doom Patrol review, I love the fact that that Doom Patrol just said, screw it, we're going full Angel Season 5 right out of the gate.
You did. That you did. Yeah, you know. There's
Yeah,
some
so
bona fides in there.
there is stuff I really loved about the season of Legends.
One quick line that I loved. Nate
Okay.
saying something along the lines of like, we should have done a crossover
Uh-huh.
after they were the show that wasn't in the crossover this year.
Yep, that was a lot of fun.
I like that little shout out. Also, I think the costumes they were using when they were doing the Flash and Supergirl and Arrow stuff, I genuinely think they borrowed those costumes, didn't have them fit. And
Oh, yeah.
I think they borrowed other people's costumes and put them on.
Oh, I guarantee it.
I don't think they like made a costume that was supposed to misfit Gary. I think they just borrowed Barry's old costume from season 4 and said, here you go. And he
Yeah. slapped
slapped it on. And apparently Grant Gustin is in way better shape than whoever plays Gary.
Mm-hmm.
But give Nate and was it Katie Lotz?
Okay.
Nate. Yeah. Give Nate and Sarah credit. They filled out those costumes.
Yes, they did. How much did you love when Nate got carried away and kissed Ray?
That's pretty funny, man.
It was so awkward.
Everyone had a moment where like, we don't have to make a big. It was like the broom said, we don't have to make a big deal of that. They got a little carried away. It's okay.
Oh shit. Yeah. There's so much I enjoy about this show. Like I even with Mona being there, I love that they were all like trying to help Zari figure out how to like text Nate, and they're like showing her emojis of zucchinis and shit and eggplants and
Yeah.
I don't know. All of that was real dumb, but it was funny.
Yeah. I even like the book club situation.
I wasn't totally into that. It was
The-
kind of cute, but it was okay.
The one thing I really liked about it was Sarah actually reads the book. And
Yeah.
she's the only one that actually probably did it.
Yeah.
I liked it. It had a fun pull line later where it's Nora and Mona and book club forever. Okay, that's cute.
Mhm.
Some bonding on the show. That's always good. Oh, the most unbelievable moment on the season for me
Yeah.
was the idea that there would be somewhere in the EULA for an app, something that binds your soul to hell.
Oh, that was great.
Completely believable. I might have done it for all I know. Microsoft may own my soul.
Right. Now, if that, luckily, all that really means is that you're going to go to Gotham City when you die.
Apparently. But you have to enter via dumpster.
That's true. There's going to be like a big flaming circle, a big flaming portal that really is false advertising.
Yeah.
You might get a little singed on the way down, but after you get through that portal, it falls in the dumpster.
If you make it to the
Pretty good.
dumpster and get out and just head down the street a few blocks,
There's
dive
like a
bar on the
speakeasy.
left, you're going to be in good shape.
There's a wine loft and a
Stay out of everybody's
speakeasy.
way.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's right next to the Pizza Hut, which do not eat at that Pizza Hut. Actually,
Yeah.
I would
Also,
suggest
it's
that of
the
any
only
Pizza
place
Hut.
to eat, but do not eat at that Pizza Hut.
That's not true. There's a couple of crystals in there.
Across the street from each other, where every single time you walk in, you eat it, your stomach's upset, you go to the shitty bathroom and destroy yourself, walk out starving, famished, and ready to die, cross the street hoping for other prospects and see another crystals,
Right.
and the process continues.
If you walk a few miles down the road, there's a Starbucks, but it only has an old scone.
Yeah. One old scone, and no one ever spells your name correctly on the cup.
Right. Now, I don't know. Those scones at Starbucks aren't good when they're fresh. So.
That depends. A lot of variables around that one, my son. A lot of variables.
Do you have anything else for this episode? Or for this series, this show, this season, whatever?
Our season in a way. As comes the end of May and the reviews wrap up, and then we get to go back to the normal stuff like news and animated reviews. But no, I've got nothing.
All right.
Oh, I was wrong. What the fuck was the monitor up to?
It appears that he was watching the show and eating popcorn.
He seemed displeased.
He did. He seemed displeased, and then once the show really kicked in...
Once Nate was back and all that, he seemed more into it.
Yeah.
I don't
he
know
was
what to
eating
do with that.
popcorn. I am going to go out on a limb and say it means that they didn't have anything really cool for him to do, but it at least gives us a reason for why the Legends will be there, because they will certainly be a part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, for sure.
But
And I like to pair it with the line earlier in the episode where he says we should have done a crossover.
Right.
And then they show you the monitor like, yeah, this is going to be included next year. Sorry, guys.
But we've had this through line where the Monitor has been scouting these superheroes to see who could actually stand up to the oncoming threat, who I assume is the Anti-Monitor. Might not be, but yeah, I think that's probably
It's a great assumption.
It's a good probability at least.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like they don't. There's not much connective tissue there so far. There's not really anything for the Monitor to do. So I assume they had him come in, sneer, like as if like, nope, these guys won't do. And then he saw the show. He saw the floor show, and he went, oh, well, that's okay, maybe.
You think this was their audition to get back into the...
I think this was their comedic justification for the Legends being a part of something they shouldn't have anything to do with.
Or that the feedback probably told them last year, dude, the Legends have always been part of the crossover. Why would the Legends not be part of the crossover?
Yeah,
And I think they got some feedback along those lines this year.
probably.
By that, I mean, I saw a lot of feedback saying, what the fuck? How could you? That's, yeah, I like that take. I didn't know what to make of it because he seemed like he was just looking on disinterestedly, and then there was a shot of him looking on approvingly, and I don't know. Your take makes as much sense as anything else.
They were mimicking my reaction for the series as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Why should I care?
This is awful.
That's
this
enough.
This is sneer worthy. And then, by like season 3, I'm like, this is kind of delightful. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
Imagine how great this show would have been if they were as crazy as they are now, but Snart was still involved.
Oh God, yeah. Or Rip. I don't think he would have held them back at all.
Yeah. Though I love how Mick Rory has grown without Snart.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. And like his progress as a character over the Arrowverse in general is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He might be the what's his name? Man, I'm having trouble with names tonight. Demon Hunter from Angel.
Wesley.
He might be the Wesley of this series. As far as the deepest, most meaningful story arc over the course of the Arrowverse.
Maybe. In some ways, possibly, yeah.
He's definitely changed a ton from, just a thug with a couple of bad one-liners to someone we deeply care about, especially in the last few episodes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've cared about him for a few seasons now.
Yeah. But to see him at this point be like to see him be able to embrace his role as a writer, that was great. That was fucking great, man.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm out. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
If we forgot something, you want to know what we thought about something that we didn't bring up, please, by all means, ask us. DCOnscreen@gmail.com. At DC on Screen over on Twitter. We've got a Facebook group. Type in DC on Screen group. You will find us. We are there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know where we're coming to next, what we're doing, but thank you for listening.
Lucifer, Swamp Thing. I don't know.
Things are coming.
Some stuff's coming.
So we have. Thank you to everyone who's listening. That's what I was going to say. And I was also going to say thank you to our patrons who help make this show possible.
Yes.
And if you want to become a patron, the $5 tier will get you some interesting new content that is not in the regular feed. Things like Jason's pull list, where Jason talks about comic books he's reading. And it's a damn fun show, if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
And I can say that because I'm not making it, so it doesn't seem conceited.
Mm.
And
You're just putting that juju on me.
that's right. You agreed. That means you're a conceited bastard.
I accept the premise.
And yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah,
No, other stuff on the Patreon.
other Patreon. We do Marvel reviews.
Sidebars.
Do we have a thing called sidebars? I didn't think we had a thing. We have a chasing squirrels.
Yeah, which is
Sort of a sidebar. It's more of a
Yeah.
tangential situation.
that's
And,
getting way too distracted to justify putting it in a normal episode.
Which we have traditionally just put in a normal episode, but no longer.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now it has been quarantined.
now it's been
To our
quarantined
Patreon feed.
to torture those poor souls.
Mm-hmm. It's poor lovely, lovely souls.
$5 a month gets you some torment. I don't. We'll play Jenga with Vandal Savage and you, Shiara. Anyway, I'm going away now.
I wanted him to say that just so you could
I did too.
be pissed at it one more time.
I did too. In a way, I did enjoy his how he was explaining. Oh yeah, we used to be an arch nemesis. It was mostly a girl thing.
Yeah.
Oh my
He does
God,
sum up
this
his
is
entire story arc pretty well, and
He does.
shrugs it off like, "Yeah, I mean, we all have our shit, we're all past it. It's fine."
But yeah, until next time, keep some DC on your screen, y'all. I'm so tired.
We'll be back for fucking everything, all the stuff
Yeah.
I mentioned
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
in due time.
All right, DC on your screen. Meh.
Bye.
Meh.
Meh.
Mm.
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 Come on.
Yeah.
You always have to have the last grunt.
I will stop recording.
Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Oppelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, the TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Discover unbeatable deals and convenience at your neighborhood family fare supermarkets. Score exclusive deals, earn rewards, join clubs, and clip digital coupons for extra savings all in one place. Our exclusive offers bring savings straight to your card. Explore a wide range of local products that support your community. With easy pickup and delivery options, saving time and grocery shopping has never been easier. Family Fare is all about making your grocery experience easy and affordable and your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. Family Fare in your neighborhood.
Are you